Good to be with you guys again for our daily devotion. Great message that just happened yesterday at church. So if you missed it, we would love for you to go backwards and get the full context of what happened just before this. Paul and Barnabas are now finishing up the very first missionary tour that the Apostle Paul has done. Started with 3 people, down to 2, Paul and Barnabas now. The third person left, that is John Mark. And as this missionary trip is about to end, they're sailing back to their home church in Antioch. And let me just show you. Let's pick up at verse 26. And from there they sailed to Antioch, where they had been commended to the grace of God for the work that they had fulfilled. So this church sent out Paul and Barnabas to do a work. They did that work. Now they're going to come back to the church. What are they going to do when they get there? And when they arrived and they gathered, verse 27, the church together, they declare all that God has done with them and how he had opened up a door of faith to the Gentiles. And they remained no little time with the disciples. This is what I want us to see here. And such a beautiful thing as I was reading this and studying for this devotion is Paul and Barnabas have been called by God on a mission. You and I are also called on a mission as well to share forth the gospel to the ends of the earth. So we know that we are called to make disciples and to do it to the ends of the earth. Paul and Barnabas, a very specific mission. Have you ever been on a mission trip? Have you ever been called to do something very specific that had a kind of a start and an end? And I want to encourage you, look at what has happened. The church sends this group out. Paul and Barnabas are planting churches, sharing the gospel. Tremendous fruit is coming from this. And now they're sharing that with the church. And I got to imagine this church is pumped up and excited for all the wonderful works that God is doing. And a lot of times we see and read that, and sometimes we can forget that, you know what? You and I can do the same thing. You and I are called to mission as well. You and I can even go on a short-term mission trip, even if it's 2 weeks, and watch and see what God does in a foreign land. I'm really touched right now, and as we watch this, we know of the conflict happening between Ukraine and Russia. You're seeing all these images on the news. I mean, it's a horrific moment. Already 1 million plus people have fled out of Ukraine. I think to myself, where are these people going to go? Who's going to care for them? How are they going to work? How are they going to eat? Who's going to share the gospel with them? Who will reach them? And friends, if we're Christians and if we're in Christ, we have to always have a mindset of, God, are you calling me at such a time to do such a work when things like this arise? And if not, Lord, can I be a part of the mission that helps other Christians accomplish that task and that goal? So I want to give you 2 challenges today. And I say this at our church all the time. Do you have a passport? Get a passport. Get it updated if you don't have a passport. Give yourself the ability and the capability that if God calls you at any moment, you'll be ready to go. I would love to encourage you as well that at some point in your life to go on a short-term mission trip. Partner with Bethel, partner with your home church, whatever it may be. It is a true blessing to see the hand of God working outside of the United States. It won't only bless you, but it'll bless the work that God is doing. And you'll feel overjoyed like you see here in our text. And you'll be able to come home to your home church and go, guys, look what God's doing. And you never know, God can continue to use you to be a catalyst to keep stirring up your church. Lastly, there's a couple of us, or there might be a few of us that are watching this and go, you know what, I don't have the health or the capability to actually be able to go on a short-term mission trip. You are still vital for the work of missions in the world. First of all, through prayer. I want to encourage you to be a person of prayer. Visit the Joshua Project, and you can see all the people groups. And every day on the Joshua Project, we'll put this in the Show More section here in this video, you have an opportunity to pray for a people group. It shows you their population. It shows you how many Christians are there. And it shows you how you can pray for this people group. Every day, they show a different people group. And it's a great way to get involved in missions through prayer. And some of you can lastly have the blessing and you have the resources that God has blessed you to be able to pray to God and go, God, maybe you want to use some of my resources that you've given to me into the work of mission and missionaries. And if that's the case, I just want to encourage you, just go for it and see how God can bless you through that work. Until we meet again, guys, see you next time.